And I was thinking about like Medal of Honor recipients, and like, everybody's gonna say, well, there's people that deserve it and they didn't get it, and people that did get it that didn't deserve. That's not my shit. But a lot of people talk about like who the most badass ones. There's no real way of quantifying who was the most badass. But like when you think of people that got it, and like, people often think of Audie Murphy, and I could do a whiteboard on Audie Murphy sometime because he's kind of like considered like the modern day badass. But for me, the one who, shut the fuck up. No one wants the Medal of Honor. It's mostly given posthumously. Yeah, I mean, yeah, most people are. But for me, just for me, I thought this would be kind of cool because we were talking about it yesterday. For me, I just want to tell you all about I don't want to say my favorite Medal of Honor recipient because that kind of sounds weird, but like the one that I think doesn't really get a lot of attention and I think is a really cool story, since we're talking about Medal of Honor recipients here. Let me tell you guys real quick about this one, because this one is just a wild story. And if you ever want to like watch a video on this, they actually did a documentary on the guy. There's been Medal of Honor recipients, and there's been some crazy stories. If you've never looked into it, you could look at Audie Murphy, you can look at some of the recent ones, but the story that I think is absolutely fucking like crazy is a guy named Alvin York, okay? So Alvin York, and the reason he's forgotten about is because it was World War I, right? World War I is called the Forgotten War, even though it's actually not the Forgotten War. The War of 1812, the Mexican-American War, Korea, and the Barbary Wars are probably the most forgotten wars. But World War I, okay? Now, we knew this guy. We should have known this guy was going to be a badass, okay? We should have known he was going to be a badass. And the reason is he was born in a place called Pall Mall, Tennessee. Dude's born in Pall Mall, Tennessee in 1887. Okay? I'll never forget that date. For some reason, that stuck with there. Dude comes from complete fucking poverty. Born in like a fucking shack out in the fucking farm. And all he does is work on his farm and helps his dad with blacksmithing. But he had a talent. And back then, they had to hunt for their food. Like, they literally had to hunt for their food. And he was like the best shot. Like, he never missed, okay? Dude was a fucking marksman. He was able to hit a fucking moving animal like at full gallop. And he was able to nail it, okay? So he does that. He starts growing up. He's working on his family farm. And in 1915, he actually joins a pacifist Christian denomination. Okay? Dude is just wants to be left in peace, joins this, right? So that's what he's doing. World War breaks out. 3 years later, the United States enters the war. He gets drafted. Okay? He gets drafted in 1918. He applies for a conscientious objector. You guys know from the movie, like, what was it, Unbroken or Unforgiven or whatever the fuck it was. Conscientious objector. Somebody who says, I don't want to go to war. I don't want to fight because I want peace. I don't want violence. I don't want to do any of that shit, right? So, like, whatever. I don't want to hurt people. You know what I mean? Well, he's denied. He's fucking denied. Now, this isn't World War II. This is World War I. Different time, okay? Different time. They deny his ass. Hacksaw Ridge, thank you. All right? So, he gets denied, and they send his ass off to war. Now, dude goes over to France, and he goes in as a corporal. He gets ranked up to a sergeant during his time. And he's serving over there. He's in a battle, and then they go to the Meuse Argonne, or however the fuck you say it, offensive. Like this fucking the final push against the Germans, right? It's the final fucking push against the Germans, the end of 2018. They've broken through the trench warfare. They've gotten through. They've got them going on. And so they've got to go into enemy territory. So what do? They take Alvin York and his patrol of 17 men, and they send them into German territory with a specific mission to take out machine gun nests. Now, this was the worst fucking job in World War I outside of charging between the trenches. Like, your job is to go find machine gun nests. People that are heavily covered, heavily fucking defended with a goddamn automatic machine gun just mowing shit down. That's their job. So him and 17 men go behind enemy lines. They start doing this, right? They penetrate behind enemy lines. They actually capture some Germans. They've got hostages. And they're doing a really good job. And then, boom, they get ambushed. And they get ambushed hard. And they're behind enemy lines. There's no way for them to get support. This isn't World War II where they have radios and they can radio in fucking artillery or reinforcements or anything like that. They get ambushed behind enemy lines, all right? And then they just start getting mowed down. And every single person above Alvin York that is higher ranked than him gets wiped out. All of them. Every one of them. Guess what? Sergeant York is now in charge of what's left over. Did he surrender? No. Did the rest of the men die? Fuck no. He's in charge. So what he says is, to the remaining guys that are left over, they're wounded, they're fucking fighting, they're sitting here and they've got these German prisoners, right? He says to his remaining guys, watch them, guard the prisoners. Where the fuck are you going, Al? I'll see you in hell. No, he didn't say that, but he decides that they're sitting ducks. They're wounded, they've got prisoners, they can't get out, but they're gonna get shot. Okay? They're gonna get taken out. So what does he do? He goes alone. I'm not making this up. And this motherfucker takes his fucking rifle, okay, and his pistol. That's all he's got. And he starts going. And he starts going after these German machine gun nests. He's only got his rifle and his sidearm. He's such a good shot that he sees these machine gun nests. And he's out here in the middle of the fucking night in the grass. Bing! Bing! Deadly fucking accuracy. Starts taking these guys out. They don't know where he's coming from. He's on his own. They're shooting indiscriminately. They can't get him. They don't know where he is. So what do they end up doing? What do they end up doing? They end up getting some of the guys and going around to flank him, right? They go around to flank him. And what does he do? He pulls out his fucking sidearm and deadly accuracy 50 yards out. Bing, bing, bing. He's wiping these motherfuckers out. He ends up killing 25 soldiers on his own, silences all of the nests, kills 25 soldiers. The remaining German soldiers are in fucking shock. They don't know what just happened. They don't know what's going on. Is this a fucking monster? Is this 30 guys, 50 guys? They don't know what's going on. These guys surrender to him. They surrender to him. Because they have no idea. They come out hands up. They don't know where these shots are coming from, who's doing it. Nothing they do is stopping this guy. He takes all of these motherfuckers back to his patrol, and he and his remaining patrol members end up taking 132 German prisoners, as well as 35 machine guns. This dude was the real-life fucking Rambo. He goes back home. The U.S. wants to parade him around. He's like, no, fuck that. And he famously said, this uniform is not for sale. And he goes and lives on his farm. He gets dementia and dies later on. His farm is now a historic site. But this guy, Alvin York, fucking was the real-life Rambo. No, he was not reported for aimbotting, you dipshit. This is a real story. This actually happened. It's documented. It's there. There was casualties. So I'm sorry. I love these fucking stories. And it's insane. Dude fucking single-handedly behind enemy lines with everyone above him killed. He's in charge, leaves his guys wounded and goes and fucking charges and fucking snipes out all these nests, sidearms, kills everybody else. And they get so fucking scared. They're so fucking in shock. They surrender to him. And he takes out the entire thing. Okay? So bail on your troops to be a hero? They would have died if they would have just stayed there. Because they would have been found. They're behind enemy lines. Crazy enough, guarantee you, this exact situation happened somewhere else, and dude left and got fucking wiped out in 2 seconds, and then they all got fucking captured, and the story is a lot different. But fucking Alvin York is the original Rambo. I should tell you guys some more stories like this. I should do one on Audie Murphy. Audie Murphy's a badass, too. Motherfucker jumping on... Should I tell you Audie Murphy real quick, or should I save it for another time? Alvin's wife was a baddie? Audie Murphy's a cool one. It's just hard to follow up the Alvin York story, but here we go. Let's do World War II. All right. Let's do Audie Murphy. All right. I might be spelling his name wrong, but I don't remember. Audie Murphy, a little bit different, World War II. Okay? So Audie Murphy is a small guy. This is like the Captain America origin story, right? After Pearl Harbor, right? Pearl Harbor happens. And unlike York, who didn't want to go to war, Audie Murphy wanted to go a little too bad. Now, dude is like 110 pounds. He's 16 years old. He goes to sign up. They don't let him. He goes to his sister to help him forge the documents when he's 17 to go. So when he's 17 years old, his sister helps him. He joins at 17, okay? Now, Audie Murphy's a little bit different, okay? He ends up fighting in 9 campaigns, okay? He's fighting all over Italy, Okay, for a lot of people forget that Italy was part of the Axis in the beginning, and we did a lot of fighting down there. He was in, I think it was like Sicily and Rome. He fought in North Africa because that's where the Italians were before the Germans went in. He ends up making his way up to France and Germany. This dude goes all the way up in rank. I'm not even kidding you. He started as a private, and he ends up a second lieutenant. That's insane. Okay. This is like interesting because this guy goes from war agitations, now sponsored by Department of War. You think I'm being paid to give you some fucking hoopla like American shit? Nah, dude, I do this shit for free. I just like these stories, okay? Shut up for a second. All right, so he goes from private to second lieutenant. It's a big fucking jump. Now, here's what happens, all right? They're pushing forward. His platoon, right? He's got a platoon. And these guys are pushing forward into the German held French territory. So Audie Murphy and his platoon, and they have a tank with them, they're moving into French territory, right? And they're moving in, they're doing patrols and stuff like that. All of a sudden, him and his platoon, remember, a platoon and one tank, come face to face with 6 German tanks. And remember, these were some serious tanks, and 300 troops. Now, normally, this is a no-win situation. And they're just, what do you do in this situation? You're in enemy territory, behind enemy lines, you've got a tank, it's just you and a platoon, and there's fucking 6 tanks and 300 soldiers. What do you do? What do you do? Well, you don't have a choice of thinking what to do, because as soon as they encountered them, the U.S. tank takes a direct shell from one of the German tanks. Fucking explodes, fire everywhere, right? Now, it's just a platoon of soldiers versus 6 tanks and 300 German soldiers. So, guess what? You're fucked. You're fucked. It's game over, right? Not if you're Audie Murphy. Audie tells his entire platoon to retreat, go hide in the woods. And what does Audie Murphy do? He jumps onto the burning tank, gets behind the 50 cal, and just starts firing. He just starts blasting, okay? He just starts blasting. And he's up against 6 very, very intense, very well done, more powerful tanks, and 300 German soldiers, okay? He fires the 50 cal for an entire fucking hour. Does not stop, okay? And I mean, I don't know if they did a barrel change. I can tell you this right now. I remember firing a 240 Bravo, not in combat, it was stateside, but firing it so much at nighttime that the barrel glowed. Okay, these barrels will melt. You have to do barrel changes. I don't know about this. What they did back in World War II. Doesn't matter. Full fucking hour giving his guys time to get away, right? He ends up
anyway, I started blasting.
He ends up he's on this tank, right? That's on fire. And they surround him. There's tanks over here. There's men over here. And they're firing at him, right? From 3 fucking sides. He takes shrapnel. Fucking bullets are flying. There's the tank is hitting shells. He takes shrapnel to the leg. Dude didn't collapse. Adrenaline keeps him going. He's fucking firing. The Germans are getting pissed off. They try everything. They're using small arms. They set up fucking mortars. I'm not making this story up. They set up fucking mortars to try to get to him, but they can't get close enough to him for accuracy because this dude is fucking firing goddamn 50 cals just everywhere for an hour. They call in artillery. They bring in the tanks. I'm not making this up. You know what? You know how we know about Audie Murphy? Because of the Germans who talked about it. This wasn't Audie Murphy telling everybody. It wasn't his guys. It was the fucking Germans. They can't kill this son of a bitch. They cannot kill him. All 3 sides, okay? All 3 sides. They're using small arms. They're using artillery. They're using mortars. They're using close range tanks. They have an entire squad. They say, okay, while he's doing this, we're gonna go into the woods next to him and flank him. They do. They come out. He turns the 50 cal, wipes out the entire fucking German squad. They get as close as 10 yards to him. Meters for my fucking EU nerds, okay? They're getting so close. But what does he do? And what did York not have in World War I? He has a radio. He calls in artillery strikes almost on top of him. Fucking boom, 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 boom. Fucking shells going everywhere. Tanks are going off. Fucking people are flying and stuff like that. He ends up these artillery strikes kill another 50 Germans. Now remember, they start out with 6 tanks and 300 guys. He's already wiped out a bunch of them. Another 50 are killed. Then, as they start backing off, he jumps off the tank, limps over down the road into the woods, gets the rest of his men, and they lead a counterattack. The Germans are fucking, they don't know what to do. There's nothing they can do. There's artillery coming down on them. They've been getting wiped out. Now there's more of these guys. They flee. Okay? Just to give you an idea, Audie Murphy was credited, mostly from this battle, with killing 250 enemies. Okay? He got 3 Purple Hearts. He was awarded every single combat Valor Award. Ones that weren't even existing yet, he ended up getting later on. Even the fucking French and the Belgian, or France and Belgium, gave him fucking Legion of Merit fucking equivalents of fucking Medals of Honor and shit. So yeah, this was the fucking, you call him the fucking, the ghost of wherever the fuck this battle took place. Okay? This is actually insane. These are true stories. And you might say, nah, these are all bullshit. Crazy enough, I'll tell you about John Chapman next time, and that one was caught on camera. And the crazy thing was that the Navy SEALs tried to lie about it so that their guys could get Medal of Honors and not him. And then later on, the actual footage from the C-130 showed what he did. And the Navy SEAL guy who was in charge of the joint operation as well as the Navy SEAL command got caught fucking trying to lie about this guy's actions and dismiss his service so that it didn't look like his guys left him to die. That's going to be a crazy story.